As you know, this is another show with Patrick Franz here in my garage gym. It's physical and financial fitness with Patrick, where we talk about all things physical fitness and financial fitness because we're trying to get in the best shape of our lives, whether it be physically or financially. So, if you catch the replay, stick tight, have some fun. If you have some comments or questions, then you can put them in and I'll try to answer them maybe later on. And if you are live, with me, guys, it's designed to be sort of a raw Q&A, non-scripted, and for people to come on and be able to ask questions and banter back and forth with me about all sorts of different subjects, physical and financial fitness related. So welcome. And this morning, we are going to be doing leg day. And, leg day is most people's favorite. I know my wife absolutely loves leg day. But I have some bad knee injuries and 3 surgeries on my right knee, and darn thing just clicks when I walk down the stairs, for crying out loud. So, of course, leg day is not always my favorite day of the week in the gym, but neither here nor there. We can't skip it, guys. We have to balance our bodies out. And just like we have to work the front of our bodies, we have to work the back of our bodies, and we have to balance things out. And of course, legs are very important, especially when I'm walking 18 holes of golf, and a lot of the power in golf and other sports comes from the ground, of course. So your legs are very important. So we can't forget to work legs, even if it's not our favorite. That's a reminder of perhaps to push through things that maybe aren't your favorite things to do, but need to be done, right? So we're going to do some leg day today. Andy Woodward, good morning. That's really wild, Andy. I was able to see your comment come up before I saw the fact that you had joined the live. That was kind of wild. So you commented when there was 0 participants on the live, and then all of a sudden the 1 showed up. So Andy's on, and of course, you know how it is, guys. A lot of people just spill into this sucker over time and start to enjoy the time with me in the mornings, and of course with the rest of my audience. I know a lot of you guys like to look in the comments section and see what other people are saying, and it makes a fun time. So my whole motivation, of course, guys, is to be here to give people motivation to become more physically fit and more financially fit. And with those 2 things, I do believe that life becomes better. And so that's what I like to talk about. And today we're going to do some legs, and leg day is not my favorite, but hey, we got to do it. We talked about that. Persevere and push through. Sometimes we got to do some things that we just don't want to do. Sometimes we got to do the things that we don't like to do in order to achieve our best results. And so, with my knee surgeries and my knee clicking when I walk downstairs and how bad my knees are from all my sports, leg day sucks for me. It's usually all just painful, but got to push through it. Can't let those leg muscles dwindle. Oh, cool, NJ. How you doing? Glad you got the notification. Glad to have you on. We're going to throw down some leg day today, right? Not my favorite because my knees are in such bad shape and stuff from all the sports I've played, and my right knee especially is really bad. It's tough to get up and down stairs generally. So when I start doing leg day, it's more pain than it is pleasure for me. But we got to push through it, right? We were talking about pushing through. But today's subject, guys, that I really want to talk about is the network, our network being equal to our net worth. That's a really interesting subject. People have always heard that sort of cliched statement, which is, your network is equal to your net worth. We've all heard that. So I wanted to kind of discuss that and discuss maybe, is that the truth? And if so, if the people around us are the most important thing when it comes to our success, then that statement could have some major truth to it. So when people say your network is equal to your net worth, is that just sort of an old cliched statement, or is this a lot of truth behind it? So we're going to toss that around, and I figured you guys could learn a little bit more about my story at the same time, where you guys probably are curious, maybe ask some questions. So we're going to go about talking about, is your network really equal to your net worth? Do those have any correlation? The people around you, the people you hang out with, the mentor you operate under, the family that you have around you, your network, the people around you, does it have any correlation, do we think, with one's net worth? Oh, thank you, NJ. Yeah, my buddy got me that girl dad hat. I really enjoyed the girl dad hats. First of all, it's a pretty nice quality hat. If you know, you know. It says if you know, you know, right there. But your husband has one. That's awesome. Yeah, my buddy got me this hat for my birthday or something. He's like, "Hey man, here's a birthday gift for you." And I opened up the box and it said "girl dad," and I was like super appreciative of it, man. I love it. Y'all know I have two girls, right? So I'm certainly a girl dad for sure. But we're talking about that, right? That'd be the subject of today, the subject matter for us to banter back and forth with, and let's have some fun, toss it back and forth, right? Which is your network really equal to your net worth, or is that a bunch of bullshit? We've all heard that statement. Your network is equal to your net worth. You know, the network of people around you. Is that true, or do we think it's gobbledygook? That's the subject of today, and I'm going to kind of go over a bunch of different times in my life when I do attribute the people around me and my network being the very reason that I was able to progress or succeed in life. I have a lot of proof of the pudding in my life that says that the people around you and your network really can equal your net worth. And who else is on here heard about that statement where they say the five people you hang around with most is who you'll become like in the next few years? Anybody ever heard that one too? Excuse me. So we've all heard the cliche, your network is equal to your net worth. And then some people have heard, you know, the five closest people to you that you hang around with the most are who you're going to end up like in a few years. Have you guys heard those things? Does this sound familiar? Does that sound familiar to you? Does our network of people around us have anything to do with our net worth? That's the question. What do you guys think? Who's heard your net worth is equal to your network? And who's heard that you're usually going to end up being like the five people? Network, people around you, Andy. Your network, the people around you. Family, coworkers, friends, business partners. Maybe. Yeah, it is a maybe, huh? Maybe. Could. I'm a really big believer because of the proof in my life. I'm a very big believer on your network of people who you associate with and your network around you. You know, the five people you hang out with the most, so to speak, that kind of thing. It really does depict where we end up a few years later in our future. And so oftentimes I believe that if we're looking for a different future and we're trying to progress, whether it be physically or financially, we're trying to make stride to change, to get better, of course, the people around us can really have a major effect in whether we even keep trying that anymore, or whether we move very slowly to get towards those goals, or whether we rapidly succeed to achieve those goals. And I'm a really big proponent of that. Your network and the people around you is one of the most important things, bar none. Okay? And so that's what I want to talk about. So that's just my opinion though, right? So I want to toss it back and forth and see what people think about your network being your net worth. The five people you hang out with the most is usually who you're going to end up being like in a few years. Andy surrounds himself with people from church, family, and successful business people. It's a good idea. So Andy then would probably be able to expect, right? If we wanted to talk about that scenario with Andy, if Andy surrounds himself with people from church, family, of course, because he likes to spend time with his family, and successful business people. Generally, with that kind of influence around you, do you think that it's difficult to go the opposite of the way that those people operate? You know, if you're surrounded by people from church, then is it going to bode well with your friends to run around and spew hateful speech and talk down on people, and, you know, to be evil and to steal and rob and be a really bad person if you're hanging out with sort of church-going people that have a different mindset than that? You're not going to be hanging out with them very long. Usually they don't hang out with people that are bad people or trying to do bad things. So that's an interesting one there, Andy. And then family. Yeah, family. Well, I'll tell you what, oftentimes it's family that we need to get away from, interestingly enough. Oh, and Patrick. Yeah, if you hang out with me, Andy, at least you won't get into yourself into any trouble because I stopped being a troublemaker a long time ago. But also surrounding himself with successful business people. So, guys, you just have to understand that there's a lot of truth behind it. There's a lot of truth with, who you hang out with depicts on, kind of who you become in the next few years of your life. Who you surround yourself with can have a big impact on what you're able to get done, how much money you're able to make, the level of wealth you're able to build, the level of knowledge that you retain, the level of skills that you have. All of these things can be drastically changed in a much faster manner when it comes to other people around us. And it's not just us relying upon ourselves, right? And so today we're going to do some leg day, guys, and we're going to chat about that. That's the subject matter. And we're also going to chat about, guys, how then, because the question always becomes how. Everybody wants to ask me how to do things. Well, we're going to talk about how to build a better network around yourself as well, because there is a way to do it. And the reason all this got sparked up, guys, is I told you, the reason all this got sparked up is I went to this lunch meeting yesterday. I met a gentleman for lunch who I had reached out to online. It was like kind of a weird random reach out from a weird dude online, right? I was the weird dude online. And I was reaching out just going, hey man, I realized that you live near me in San Diego, but I didn't realize that because I had watched some of your content. And I said to him, I like what you do. We speak the same language. We're in San Diego. I said, hey, we might as well get together and see if we click or what's up, see if we have any synergy. And so it was like a cold reach out from me on social media, but we met for lunch yesterday. And the lunch went well, and it's just trying to urge people to understand how to build those new relationships is really the key. So, what do you think? What? Let me ask you this, guys. What do you think your most valuable relationship been thus far? And it could have been with friends, family, a stranger, a boss, anything like that really you think helped to advance your life. Who was that individual in your past? Who was the individual in your past that you can credit for pushing you further, or you can credit for getting you past a milestone, or you can credit for helping mentor you in a space? Who was that individual? Was it your mom or your dad, or was it a coach, or was it a teacher, or was it a mentor, or who was it that you can give some credit to back in the past and say, wow, if it weren't for that person coming into my life would be very different? Who do you think that would be for you? Curious. Andy said, unfortunately, I did go opposite, but they were the ones who brought me back. A friend who confronted me about alcohol and got me checked into recovery, and now you're sober. Epic. I didn't even know that about you, Andy. I didn't even know that about you, brother. So Andy was an alcoholic, but he had somebody come into his life, and this person that came into his life 15 years ago confronted him about his alcohol problem, made him check into rehab, and got him sober, and Andy probably wouldn't have done that by himself. And if it weren't for that individual coming into Andy's life and kind of doing that, who knows where Andy's life would have been if he was going down that same alcohol trap. So you do credit that person, I'm sure, Andy, for a lot in your life. You probably credit that person for a lot in your life. Do you still talk to that individual at all? Do you still know them? Are they still around? That person that helped you, Andy? Because boy, oh boy. Yeah, it seems like I may credit that person for a lot because, the alcoholic life can sometimes lead to horrible things, even death. So yeah, credit that person quite a bit, right? So it is amazing that there's sometimes just things that we know we should do. There's things we know we should do or not do for that matter, but we still do them or don't do them for that matter because that's how human beings are. And sometimes it takes a third party, a different person to come into your life to shake things up, man. It takes a different human being to come into your life to get you to make that change, whether it's a positive change or a negative change. So your network and who you surround yourself with in my opinion, is one of the most important things when it comes to your success, whether it be health, physical, spiritual, or financial. And sometimes people overlook that. And one of the questions we always have is, yeah, but how do I build a network of people around me, like the people that I want to be around, right? Like, how? How do I start hanging out with wealthier people? How do I start hanging out with people that are on a more fitness mindset? How do I start hanging out with people? It's like, how do I make those friends is always kind of the question, especially for introverts, right? And it's always, yeah, it sounds good, but how do I build a network? So we can toss that around today. That's really it. Let's toss around this network being your net worth and how to build a network. And I can go down the line, guys, and I can start to attribute so many of my successes in my life to other people. So many of the successes in my life I can attribute to other people. How many of you guys can say the same damn thing? Okay? Guys, I'll start off right now and tell you this. My father is one that I wish I would have not taken so much for granted. My dad's gone now. But I wish that I wouldn't have taken the things and the lessons that my dad was able to teach me for granted. I will tell you this, my father taught me so much and so many good things. And my dad was such a good guy. He taught me so many good things that, without my father in my life, I don't know how I would have gotten past my teenage years, to be straight up. You know what I mean? If it weren't for my father being so mature, so level-headed, and so understanding, and just such a good guy and a knowledgeable guy, then I know that my very younger years would have turned out to be really bad. Because a lot of my friends that didn't have that father figure in their lives, guys, got on drugs, got on methamphetamines, went to jail, got in fights, joined gangs, became drug dealers, and those kind of things. And I didn't. So, it's just right there. I can credit my father for so many lessons that he taught me, keeping me out of trouble, having my back, so on and so on and so on. And I know some people aren't lucky enough to grow up with a good dad. Some people grow up in a fatherless family. So that was an advantage that I had that I didn't realize then. Does that make sense? Of course, I didn't realize that was a major advantage. That was just how my life was. I grew up with a cool dad, and my dad was very knowledgeable and a smart guy and mature and, loved me to death and kept me out of trouble a lot of different ways when I was growing up. Some people didn't grow up with that. But I didn't realize that then. So, of course, I took it for granted. Do you think that I probably treated my dad worse than I should have? You think I probably gave my dad more headaches than I should have? Backtalk my dad when he didn't deserve it? All those good things? Of course. Can you relate? Can you look back and think, boy, how my parents dealt with me, or thank God I had my mom, or thank God I had my dad at that time in my life. So those parents were very important, at least I know in my life, and I very much took it for granted. So I'll tell you this, I did not suck enough juice out of my father's value, if that makes sense, before he was gone. And all of a sudden he's gone, and you think, I wish I would have learned more from that guy. I wish I would have learned more lessons from that person before they're gone, and that chance is now gone, okay? So we're talking about your network being equal to your net worth. The people who you hang out with influencing you, even if it's subliminally, influencing you to be who you're going to be in the next 3 to 5 years. So this network around us, who we hang out with, really has an effect on our growth, right? So yes, I see Andy. Yep. Andy is on there saying that he still gives credit to the gentleman back in the day that helped him get off the alcohol. It's huge. It's life-changing stuff. And we may not know how life-changing it really was because you don't know the ramifications of if you would have kept going down the same bad path. So remember, not know how he saved your life in that case, Andy, right? So, with me, it started out with my dad and then coaches because I was very athletic and we did a whole bunch of sports. To be good at sports, to be good at gymnastics, to be a good baseball player, to be a good soccer player, all these things require coaching. So most sporting teams you've been a part of had a coach. Well, I, growing up, had some really, really cool and influential coaches that molded me as a young man, taught me lessons, taught me humility, taught me how to be a good sport, those kinds of things. And if it weren't for those coaches in my life, I wouldn't have been molded into the young gentleman I became and to be as good at some of the sports that I played because the coach was there to straighten me out. The coach was there to get me to act more mature. The coach was there to get me to stand in line when I should have been. The coach was there to watch me from a third-party standpoint, to judge me how I was doing things wrong, how I could do things better, and then help me to get better and to do things correctly, right? And if it weren't for those individuals, yeah, exactly, Chad. Chad, that's exactly what we're talking about today, brother. That the people who you surround yourself with, people who you choose to be around, is generally who you turn into. I was talking about, the 5 closest people that you hang out with the most is who you end up being like over the next couple years of your life. Exactly what we're talking about. So glad you're on here, Chad. Good morning. But we do physical and financial fitness with Patrick. We come live in my garage gym every morning, 6:30 to 8 a.m. Pacific, and we talk anything physical or financial fitness. How can we get better physically and healthier financially, right? That's what we talk about. And today we're just talking about exactly that. We're talking about exactly that, guys, that your network and the people you surround yourself with and kind of who you associate with and so on has a very big impact. And for me personally, the reason I'm bringing this up is I believe it has one of the most influential impacts on where you end up in the next 3 to 5 years of your life. I believe the people around you is far more important than people give it credit for. I believe your network around you, people don't realize, okay? Most people don't realize how important it is. Now, you guys can read a book as well if I can drop you guys a book to read, which is really cool. And of course, if you guys don't actually sit and read a book, you can get it on Audible, right? I listen to some stuff when I'm in the shower and that kind of thing because I know some of us are very, very busy and don't go sit in the den by the fire to read a book. But you can download it on Audible and listen to it. But go check out this book called Who, Not How, okay? So, Who Not How is a Dan Sullivan book, and Who Not How, of course, allows people to understand that when pursuing endeavors and getting things done, oftentimes we're trying to think of how to do it. We are trying to figure out, how can I get this done? And one of the points they make in that book, of course, is the thought process, maybe instead of how can you do it, is who can you find to do it for you? Who can you find that can do it better? Who? So there's this book called Who, Not How. And maybe read that by Dan Sullivan. It's really good. That's just a little nug. But check out that book, Who, Not How. Gave me a different perspective on a lot of different things and helped us run our business in different ways because my partner and I are always sitting there trying to figure things out. Well, why? Why are we sitting here wasting our time trying to figure it out and us get good at this when it's not our specialty, when we can go find somebody that's already really, really good at it? And that person can do it 10 times better than us and 10 times faster than us. And why? Why were we sitting here trying to figure out how to do it? Yeah, Who, Not How. It's a really good book. Dan Sullivan, Who, Not How. And basically that book is showing you that, guys, that we oftentimes are trying to figure out how to be the expert at everything. And we're trying to figure out how to get things done. And we are trying to figure out how to learn this and learn that and try to do this and do that to get whatever it may be done. And that book is trying to get into our mindsets. That book is trying to get into the reader's mindset to say, look, shift from trying to always figure out how to do things. Maybe shift then from figuring out how to do everything to who can you find? Who can you find that can help you get that done in a much faster and much more efficient time frame than you fumbling around trying to learn that new task and trying to do something spectacular with it right when you're brand new. So that book, Who Not How, I believe it's Dan Sullivan book, is a good book to read based on what we're talking about today, guys. Not you having to figure out how to do everything. Guys, most of us are not good at everything. And plus, there's a lot of times we don't like doing stuff. It's just not something we enjoy doing. And if it's not something you enjoy doing, you're probably not going to get good at it, and you're probably not going to want to do it. So things just don't get done. That's when procrastination happens and things like that. So Who, Not How by Dan Sullivan is a really good book. Check that out. Instead of figuring out how you're going to get everything done, figure out who you can bring on your team to get it done. Rather than you do it, who else on this planet could do that, right? So like, how many of you file your own taxes? And then how many of you say, forget that, that's a pain in the butt. I just hire a tax accountant and they do it for me. Who, not how to file taxes, how to do all the proper write-offs, how to do all the documentation, how to categorize things, how to do your... Well, guys, I don't know if you want to spend all your whole life trying to learn how to be a tax expert, but no, we usually find who? A tax expert that does want to spend their whole life being a tax expert. And we bring our taxes to a tax expert, and then they do things faster, better, quicker than we ever have and get our taxes done in an efficient manner. Well, I mean, look at that. Come on, a simple one, right? So sometimes we do our own taxes because there's just not that much to do. We don't need somebody. We know how we can do it really easily, right? But I'm just saying, guys, the best tool in the toolbox is a checkbook. Yeah. And Chad is obviously hinting to paying other people who are experts in their place to do things for you, and you not trying to become an expert at everything else in the world that's maybe not in your wheelhouse. So that's exactly right, guys. And the topic of conversation again is, who can we give credit for in our past? And do we understand that whoever we link up with here in our near future, our network that we surround ourselves with can be very, 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 very proportionate in comparison to our net worth. So this whole network equal to net worth thing, is it a fallacy? I don't know. You tell me. I just happen to believe that network being net worth is probably one of the most true statements in the universe. Okay. And the reason I'm saying this, guys, is because you guys know that I reached out to a stranger. I reached out to a stranger on Instagram. Okay. Because this dude is in my same wheelhouse. And I noticed the guy's athletic. He likes working out. He's all jacked. He is learning how to surf. So he's posting some things about him learning how to surf. And there's all my surfboards up here. I've been a surfer for years. And so I reached out to this guy, as you guys would feel like weird. Okay, like I felt weird. It's like I'm reaching out to a total stranger who's kind of famous on Instagram and that. And I'm reaching out to a total stranger out of the blue to try to make a connection, because I felt like this individual, based on his content, based how he lived his life, based how he rolls, was a guy that was kind of like me, even on an upper tier. He's up here, right? So the guy he's way more jacked than I am. He's way more jacked. He's way more ripped. He just looks like a freaking bodybuilder beast. So I'm like, well, that's somebody I'd want to hang out with. If you're trying to get super duper fit, would you want to hang out with people that are more fit than you are? Or would you want to hang out with a bunch of people that are a lot less fit than you are? Well, the answer is obvious, of course. If you want somebody to push you to be better, fitness-wise, it's always good to get somebody then in your life that's more fit than you. Well, what I've started to realize after this 1.5-year fitness kick I've been on is now I'm starting to be the most fit, the most jacked, the strongest person in like my whole friends crew. Okay. So in order for me to have somebody pushing me to get better physically and pushing me that makes me not feel like the strongest, somebody that makes me not feel like I'm ripped. When I stand next to them, I look small, right? I need some people to make me feel like that in my life because I want somebody to level me up physically. Okay. So I'm looking for people that are maybe in better physical shape than me and really have that dialed. And I want to see, can I make friends with them? Can I somehow offer value and bring them into my friends circle, then bring me into their friends circle? Because I want to start hanging out with some people that are ultra jacked and ripped. Because I think if I start hanging out with people like that, I'll start to get some of their habits. I'll start to get some of their mindset, and they'll push me and motivate me, right? So that's the thing there. And that's one of the reasons I reach out to this gentleman. But then I go, oh, it's twofold. He's really leveled up over the past 10 years of his life, 15 years of his life in real estate. And he was talking about creating notes and why owning the paper is sometimes maybe a better choice for people than owning the real estate. And I'm going, he's speaking my exact same language. We're kind of in the same damn business, just about. He does my business through the front door. I do the business through the side door, so to speak. But we do understand the value of holding real estate paper. And he gets it now. So he was doing videos about that and hosting a webinar. And I'm like, well, the guy's doing videos about real estate paper, hosting webinars and that. He speaks my exact same language, right? But I have a Mercedes-Benz in my garage, and he has a black Lamborghini in his garage. And I have a nice Suburban out here, a new one, and he has a Ford Raptor truck. And, I have a dope-ass house with a pool, and his house is a little doper with a bigger pool. And so you know what I'm saying, guys? I'm just like, those are the kind of people I have to start to surround myself with, period. I got to figure out a way to start adding some new connections to my life that will try to help level me up. But here's the thing. People are afraid to start going and creating those relationships because you're thinking that you're a leech. So I had to figure out what kind of value I may have to provide this gentleman. Otherwise, why meet? You can't just meet somebody and go, help me, help me, help me. I want you to level me up. That doesn't work. Of course, they don't want to make new friends like that. So, yesterday we went and met for lunch and we talked and we had a good old time and everything like that and tried to make it not awkward because you're meeting somebody that's a stranger for reasons of, curiosity, I guess. And we had a good lunch and it went well. And we're hoping adding people to a friend's crew, but he now knows I can provide him value. He knows now after meeting me, I can provide him value. I can offer him up some advice that'll help him even level up his business more, that I'm a good surfer and that I can help him learn how to surf better anytime. We live 15 minutes away from each other and he likes to surf. So I try to go and make a relationship with some stranger, a new person in life, to try to see and find out if I can add somebody new to my friend's crew that'll level me up. What's up, Harsh? What's up, Harsh? Palm Bay here. Harsh, what are you talking about? Palm Bay here. Who is that? What about Palm Bay? Who is that? Tell me who that is. But really cool, guys. So I went and had lunch with this individual who did pull up to the lunch spot in his flat black Lamborghini, no doubt. Pulled up in the flat black Lambo. And but we just hung out, right? It was like, guys, me trying to befriend somebody or put somebody into my network and my friend circle that has the ability to level me up. Because a lot of my friends, I'm the one who's leveling them up, right? And so you sometimes need to surround yourself with people that level you up and challenge you to be better. And so when I know he was more yoked than I, and I want to get more buff and all that stuff and more fit, when I saw he was at that where I want to be in that, then I said, well, I got to start hanging out with this guy for that reason. I saw that maybe he has been in the real estate investing game longer than me, and he's crushed it longer than I have, and he has a bigger, better house and a Lambo and all that. And I'm like, shoot, wouldn't mind getting some advice and watching how this guy operates, right? It would help motivate me to do better and all that good stuff. But then you can't have it be selfish. So I had to figure out if I'm going to go meet this gentleman and I want to be impressive to him as well. And I want him to feel like I can add value to his life and level him up in a way, right? And that's all you guys got to figure out. So we went and had lunch and I was teaching him about some different things that I know in the real estate game, letting him know about the apartment builds out there in Palm Bay that we're building. Harsh just said Palm Bay here. So Harsh, I'm building the 32 and the 48 out there in Palm Bay. But anyway, I don't know who Harsh is, but neither here nor there. So it was just like an exchange of value and two guys that are both fit, both surf, both have kids, both are trying to crush it, both are in real estate. He may be a couple levels up from me at certain things, but I'm also, I've also been surfing my whole life and used to surf, professional competitions back in the day. So if somebody wanted to come out to San Diego and learn how to surf, he's from Oklahoma. If he wanted to come out to San Diego and learn how to surf, I'd be a good guy to link up with, to go surfing with a few times, because I can show him a thing or two, okay? So there's just exchange of value there, guys, okay? And I went and had lunch, and the lunch went well, and we're going to add each other to our networks, hopefully, and see where things go. And there could be future business endeavors and future ways that we can help level each other up. But the bottom line is, if you're not out there willing to go put yourself out and add some new people to your network that maybe can help level you up, if you're always the strongest in your friend's crew, then it's hard for people to push you to get stronger. If you're always the smartest amongst your friends, family, and colleagues, if you're always the one teaching them the lessons and no one's really teaching you any lessons, that's kind of backwards, right? It doesn't help you grow. So that network being your equal to your net worth, to me, is one of the most important things we can possibly do. The network around you and the people around you are who will push you to do better in all aspects of life. Andy was just saying, man, he was an alcoholic and had problems with alcohol, and he probably still would be there if a person wouldn't have been in his life. Another person wouldn't have pushed him and made him do all that to quit drinking. So I talked about parents and coaches. We got friends, we got family, we got business partners. All these people around us are going to be very important to where we end up in the next couple of years. Your network being your net worth. Now, how about in business? I will tell you this. I got hired on to my first sales job when I was 15 because my sister, Dawn, owned a telemarketing company. Good morning, HBJ. What's up, man? We're talking about network being your net worth. The people around you will be very influential on where you end up in the next 3 or 5 years. So how to improve our network so that we can improve our net worth is kind of the conversation for today. And I'm talking about, guys, The people in our lives that were so influential. And I tell you this, I started selling things as a salesperson, right? My first sales job I got when I was 15 years old. The reason I got this sales job when I was 15 years old and I didn't even have a work permit is because my older sister owned a telemarketing company. So I got a job as a telemarketer learning sales when I was a 15-year-old dude because my sister owned a little telemarketing company selling ad spec products to businesses. So that was a very good connection for me to have, my sister, being the fact that she had this little telemarketing business. And so right there, someone in my network, I was able to get a job as a telemarketer when most companies wouldn't hire me legally because I didn't have a work permit. Makes sense? So right then was my first sales job when I was 15 years old, when I was starting to get my sales chops under me, right? Matter of fact, my voice was so high-pitched back then that when I called in a telemarketing phone call, people used to think my name, since it's Pat, they would think I was a female, like Patricia. They would say, yes, ma'am, because I had such a high-pitched voice back then. But that goes to show you, right? If it weren't for my older sister being there in my life at the time and having a little telemarketing company, I probably wouldn't have got my first job in sales then and started to spark me off onto a sales career. I'd have been working at the lumber yard, or you know how it is. When you're young, 15, 16. Here's a question for you. What job did you work when you were 15 or 16 years old and you got your first job? Super curious to see what you guys did when you were that age, because I remember my buddies working at Wiener Schnitzel. My other buddies working at McDonald's. I was working at the lumber yard loading lumber in the back of contractors' trucks. There's always those weird, odd jobs we did as what we would call an entry-level job, right? When you were getting your first jobs. Andy, your message got retracted a bit ago. I don't know what you said there, but your message got retracted, Andy, for some reason. I don't know what you said, but what was your first like weirdo job where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I worked there. You know, like sweeping gum up off the floor at the movie theaters, or, you know, what was your job back then? Mine was telemarketing in a little office calling business owners, trying to sell them stuff over the telephone. Excuse me. I have something in my throat this morning. What was your weirdest little job like when you were 15 or 16 years old? I'm curious to know what you guys did. Did you work fast food? Did you work at the movie theater? Did you do maintenance or just like sweep things up or work on the lumber yard? Or what did you do? What was your first job? Or what was your first job or your worst job? I'm curious. I want to know from you guys. Harsh, HBJ, Andy, and NJ, what was your like most hated job, or what was that job you worked when you were young? I'm curious. I started working in the lumber yard. That was a pain in the arse. I started working in the lumber yard, and I remember it being so hot in that lumber yard in the summer, and the contractor trucks would pull in there with their with all their exhaust fuming, and it'd be 110 degrees in that lumber yard, and they'd say, well, here you go, sir. Can you please load those 40 bags of concrete in the back of the truck? I'm like, oh my God, it was such a rough job back then. It was such a rough job back then. So yeah, NJ says, down at the school in the bus garage, making $15 an hour, and a few older folks helped me get my CDL. Oh, okay, I got you. Down at the school in the bus garage. Yeah, making $15 an hour. Fun, right? Fun. Yeah, I remember working in the lumber yard loading like concrete sacks and a bunch of lumber and contractors' trucks. And I just remember San Diego, you know, in the summertime, it would be hot, number one. And number two, damn, that lumber yard would get so hot, and they would open up the bay door and there would be just like enough breeze to where you could like survive. But loading lumber in the lumber yard. But so, if it weren't for my sister back in the day, then I wouldn't have been able to get into sales so quickly. No one was hiring a 15-year-old kid for their sales company back then. My sister did, though. So it's kind of like the spark that got me going with, excuse me. I don't know why I can't breathe this morning. I got something up in my throat. One of my children were sick. One of my children had like 103 temperature, 102 temperature over the last 2 days. So I hope there's not something going around that I'm also getting, because I can have a little bit of a throat problem this morning. Oops, don't get hung up there. So what did you do? NJ worked in the bus yard. What did you do as like your first job or your most hated job that you just didn't like? What was that job? Mine was the lumber yard. Job was a pain in the butt, and it was hotter than hell in there. Oh, you were 16 when you scored that job. Yup. That's awesome. Started working early. Well, I think our generation, or at least my generation, we all started working pretty early. Everybody's trying to move out of their parents' house by 18 years old in my era. Now kids are living at the house till they're 20 or 30. But yeah, working at the lumberyard sucked. So I figured out how manual labor sucked and how working in a hot lumberyard in the summers really sucked. So I got into sales for obvious reasons. It was sure easier sitting in an air-conditioned office dialing the phone and talking to people. There's no doubt. And because I was a pretty good talker, I started making a lot more money than the, $7.50 an hour that we got paid in the lumberyard when I worked that job. Can you imagine that? $7.50 an hour, I believe, is where I started at the lumberyard back then. It's wild. Wild to think. Different time, different era. Who can you contribute to your life as being one of your most influential mentors? And what did they do for you? Andy said a gentleman came into his life and got him off of the alcohol, got him sober, got him to go to rehab. That's pretty life-changing, I'll tell you that. Alcohol can kill and ruin lives, and for somebody to be able to influence you to quit doing that, amazing. Oh, that person in your life, sometimes you may think. I was 16 when I scored that job. Yeah, absolutely. Young, first jobs. Hell yeah, it sucked. Dealing with a lot of screaming kids, but the pay was good. That's the truth. How funny. How funny. Let me grab something from my car here. Oh boy. Gotta get this going. So, try to add people to your network that will, try to add people to your network that'll level you up. Because we need other people around to push us. Grab something out here real quick. Sorry about that. We need people around us to push us to be better. Zero doubt. Who's the mentor in your life? The number one mentor in your life that you can attribute, that you know if it weren't for them, your life would be totally different and not as good as it is now because of that individual. Who do you attribute your successes to the most? Is it your mom or your dad, or was it a coach? Do some leg extensions. So was it your mom, your dad? Was it a coach? Was it a friend? Was it a teacher? Who in your life thus far has been most influential to you and helped you to change your life the most? Curious. But the whole point of this, guys, is I went and met somebody yesterday and hopefully adding to my network. Oh, NJ, your grandparents? That's epic. Yeah, man, another set of human beings that, boy, do I wish I would have soaked more lessons up from. Oh, man. My grandmother, who, as you guys heard me talk about yesterday, I'm so sad I didn't learn how more to cook food from my grandma, my Italian grandma. Damn. The recipes that she had and stuff like that. Darn it. I don't want to lay back like that when I do. Oh, there you go. Oh, that's better. So do some leg extensions now, folks. You know I got a bad knee, so leg day's really tough for me. My right knee probably needs another surgery, but they won't do it because I'm too young. my right knee needs a knee replacement, but they said they won't do it because I'm only 46 years old. And they go, dude, you're going to have like 2 or 3 knee replacements if you live to be 80. And I'm like, ugh. Oh, that's crazy. So Andy said there was an influential person who was actually the milkman. Uh-oh. Let's not go in the crazy stories. Don't be nasty. Don't be silly, people. But Andy said the milkman. Because in the UK, they used to deliver milk to the doorstep of their houses. So they had real milkmen. And, same with a long time ago, guys. Not a long time ago, but even, Andy, would we say 50 years ago, I guess? Say 50 years ago, right? A lot of places had milkmen, right? The milk truck. What's up, Mad? How you doing? Good to see you, brother. We're talking about who was the most influential person in your life. Who came into your life and was a mentor or helped you make a new decision or push you a different direction? Because today we're talking about how your network really is equal to your net worth. Who you surround yourself with. Who you surround yourself with, who you hang out with, the 5 people you hang out with the most, all of that, all of those cliches is kind of the subject matter today. And it's very important to try to expand your network if you're trying to get better at things, right? Say, if you were at one point in your life trying to get really, really good at playing basketball, and you had a chance for like Michael Jordan to come give you private basketball lessons, would that be advantageous versus like, your Uncle Larry trying to show you how to play? Okay, if you wanted to get good at basketball, probably be a really good idea to get somebody like Michael Jordan to teach you how to play. Wouldn't it be cool? Please come to India. Man, I would love to. Like my whole IT team for like my back office and my marketing and stuff like that, they're in India. I talk to them every Thursday morning. Well, morning my time, which is night your time, but I get to talk to them tomorrow morning. My precious India folks. I really like people that are from India, to be honest, you guys. I found their personalities and things are very endearing. My friend Ankur Patel, one of my best friends in life, is Indian. We kind of visit each other almost every day when he's not out of town doing business. Also into AI development. Yeah, hell yeah. AI is where the future's heading. Well, it's already there. Never mind, the future's heading. I just think in the next 2 years or so, AI is going to take over so much as people aren't going to recognize what's going on the planet at that point. All the Patels, yes. Is it true? My friend was saying, my friend Ankur was telling me that there's 2 types of Patels generally, and they classify them in India. He said one type of Patels is the medical Patels that all became doctors or whatever, physicians and that kind of thing. And he said the other Patels are the hotel Patels. He said hotel Patels. I said, that's kind of funny. Anyways, I said, that's kind of funny. No, not like that. He said, there's Hotel Patels or Dr. Patels. I said, that's pretty funny. He's in the physician's business, and he's building a big medical company right now, my buddy. They're killing it. Oh, Mad, sorry, one of your messages got restricted. I don't know why, like two messages ago or whatever. Well, I don't know why YouTube's like restricting people's messages and stuff lately. But we're just doing some leg extensions right now, guys, getting the legs all heated up. We did a couple squats just to warm up. Squats aren't really good for my right knee because I'm bone on bone on my right knee, so they say I shouldn't even do squats, but I still like to do some anyways. Let's see. I'm sure he is from Gujarat. Gujarat, is that how you pronounce it? I hope I'm not beating that up, but Gujarat, India. Yeah, I would love to come out there, man. I would love to just be more worldly traveled, and India certainly is a place where I'd like to go. I do believe that India is really going to develop here greatly over the next 10 to 15 years, in my opinion. I believe a lot of manufacturing and a lot of business and a lot of technology and a lot of different things, people are going to be moving over to India. It's a great state, is the state of India. Yeah, that's awesome. Matt, I'd love to come out there someday, man. I find the Indian people to be very endearing. Yeah, knee pain sucks, man. It was just funny. I'm coming down here. You know how it is, guys. It's like, dog, I'm coming down here this morning because I have the two-story house. So I'm coming down from upstairs downstairs to get my water, mix my coffee, and get ready to come out here and do this. And I'm thinking it's leg day, right? Well, as I'm coming down the stairs of my house, every stair I walk down, my right knee is clicking. So my right knee is so bad, unfortunately. It's had 3 surgeries on it, and there's no cartilage on the bottom of my femur. So, dude. Anyway, leg day is very just painful for me. So, and generally when I'm doing squats or impact exercises, if I'm riding a bicycle, not walking on a treadmill where you get impact on your knees, but if I'm riding on a bicycle or doing like leg extensions and leg curls and those kinds of things, then I can exercise. But impact, the doctor said I'm not supposed to be doing on my right knee. That I'm 46 years old, but the cartilage and the problems with my right knee are about 72 years old right now. So I have a 72-year-old right knee in a 46-year-old body. Sucks. Oh, is that the food you're talking about? Yeah, Matt Hav's talking about come to India and check out the... yeah, NJ, it sucks, dude. My knee is thrashed, so pain in the butt. I would still be like really actively playing soccer and doing really awesome sports that I absolutely love if my knee wasn't so beaten up. Yeah, and India foods. I got into India foods. I don't know if you guys agree with me on this or not, but India food scared me at first. The curry, the chicken curry, and all this stuff, and the sauces and the spices and stuff. I was kind of scared. I'm like, I don't know. India food is a little much. I'm not sure. And then my buddy, come on, man, my buddy got me into it, and now I love India food. I love food from India. Super bomb. So yeah, I do love the food. I would love to come to India. That would be a great thing. Is it the same way in India, culture-wise? Question is I have for Matt Have. Is it the very same? I imagine this is all over the whole world because it's how humans operate. But in India culture, is the top 5 or 10 people that you associate with most often, do they have a very big influence on where you end up in the next 3 or 5 years? Can people change their lives dramatically in India and go from broke to rich, or go from fat to fat to fit, I guess you could say? Is it very influential out there who you hang out with? I know that's the subject matter of today, guys, because I went and met a new guy yesterday that I'm trying to add to my network who I believe can level me up. But we have to figure out how to provide value to those people too, so we're not just leeching or sucking off somebody that we think can value us up. How can we help them as well? How can we help value them up? And find a way to provide value to human beings that have the ability to level you up in certain areas of your life. It's very important. Really good food in India, very rich, right? Oh, you're a pure vegetarian by birth. How are you a vegetarian by birth? You mean from birth? So your whole life you've been a pure vegetarian? That's so funny. So what we were talking about is this book, Who Not How, right? So oftentimes we're trying to figure out how to do things, how to lose weight, how to get more fit, how to figure out the proper workout schedule, what exercises I should do, how to start a new business, so we're always trying to figure out how, and we realize that there's a lot of study and a lot of skill and a lot of knowledge and a lot of things required to do some of these things. And we realize how really stupid we are to the subject, and it's like, oh my God, I'll never learn all this. Therefore, we stop trying to do certain things because just the learning of it and trying to be good at how to do it is defeating, and we will then stop trying to better our lives. But in essence, with all these beautiful human beings like you folks, each one of you are a beautiful human being, have so much value for the world, right? That's the beauty of human beings. We were all put here for a reason. We all have so much value to offer others. And so that network around you really depicts your net worth eventually, I do believe, because you need to find people who can help you lose the weight, who can do that for you, that's already good at it, who has a passion for doing something that you hate doing, so that you don't have to do stuff you hate doing. You believe it or not, for everything that you hate doing, like there's stuff in business, guys, where you'd say, yeah, I would do that to make money, but I know I wouldn't do it because I hate blah, okay? Whatever blah is, like, I would do it, but I hate business accounting. I hate keeping the numbers to my business. I hate it. I would never do it. I just can't do it, so that's why I wouldn't run my own business. In your religion, it's not good. Interesting. Interesting news. I mean, interesting stuff. That's why I love, guys, people. Madhav has a lot to teach me about India, even though one of my best friends from India, but I don't talk to my best friend about India much because he's out here. But we have so much to learn from one another. But yeah, guys, that is really the case. That is really the case. Can you find who out there loves doing business accounting? Being vegetarian is good in your religion. That's interesting. Is that just because of the killing of animals? Is that really kind of the basis of it? Because you must kill an animal to eat it, and that's not good in the religious belief in India? Curious. But so, level you up. Who can push you and who can help you to lose the weight so that you don't have to rely on yourself? You know, a lot of the stuff we've been trying on our own for a long time hasn't been working, has it? Can we admit that? A lot of the things we've been trying on our own for many years just hasn't worked. Because for some reason, we just can't get it done. So if we're trying to figure out how to do everything on our own, it's very difficult to do most things. And if we're trying to figure out who that we can bring aboard, who can we collaborate with, who can help us do this, whatever it may be. It's a different mindset, and not how can you do it, but yet who can you find to do it for you. The whole world is one family, so we believe they're also the family, the animals. Yeah. So I do believe that too, but I also believe that we're designed to eat meat as a part of our diet. So I'm stretched, man. I, of course, feel that way. I love animals. They are living creatures, obviously. But then again, if you want to get really spiritual, then you would say everything on Mother Earth is a living creature. And then even when you eat a plant, that you're eating something that is a living being on this planet. But maybe we're talking about things that have minor intellect or a large brain, because, of course, a head of lettuce you wouldn't figure has a brain or intellect or feel pain. So that's an interesting debate for another day. But I'm glad that works out for you guys out there. I'm glad that you guys have that passion for animals and believe that we're all one on Earth. I think that's a really good way to think. But, of course, that doesn't stop me from nibbling down a chicken, okay? Or catching a fish and eating fish and those kinds of things. I believe that should be a part of our diet, but to each his own, right? We all grew up differently. We all grew up with different religions, different thought processes, and guys, difference in people who surround you. So if you understand, guys, if I was born in India, I'd probably feel that way too about eating meat, and I probably wouldn't eat meat. The people around you who influence you as you grow up and teach you how to live is the lessons you learn early, and that's end up how you forming your life. So whether you eat meat or don't eat meat, that was probably taught, right, by people around you in your community. So we are taught how to think and how to operate based on the people around us and the influence, like who's teaching us the religion, who's teaching us to go to church, who's teaching us to, it's our parents, our grandparents, our teachers, the people around us. We're being molded from day one when we reach this earth by other individuals around us. So network being your net worth, I think, is huge. And here's why I'm saying that, guys. Do you understand how much so that we're now reached the age of collaboration? Have we realized that? Think about the age of collaboration, okay? Let's talk about a couple of interesting theories here in which has happened to us here in the last, 15 years, I suppose we could say? In the last 15 years, the age of collaboration really has come about, hasn't it? What I mean by that is, sorry, Matt, a couple of your messages got restricted, brother. I don't know why. Some words you're putting in there, something like that, YouTube doesn't want to allow. I don't know why. But a couple messages got restricted. But here's the point. Let's think of some people that really have dialed in this age of collaboration to the maximum. It's crazy, right? Let's think. You guys give me an example of a business that's extraordinarily successful because of collaboration and a lot of who's, not how's. Give me an idea. I'm curious to see if your brain's jogging. If your brain's jogging yet today, give me a very successful business you know about that really built itself on the age of collaboration and a lot of who's, not how's. I'll tell you one of them is Amazon.com. Is that not right? Amazon.com became the number one, in America at least, the number one retail store that people buy things from. So a lot of people don't even go to the shopping mall anymore. A lot of people don't go anywhere. Just say, it's so convenient, look on Amazon and buy. Well, did you know that there's a lot of vendors and a lot of people who sell their products from their company through Amazon? So Amazon has the ability to sell a whole shitload of products to people, and Amazon doesn't have to manufacture the product, doesn't have to hold the inventory of the product, and doesn't have to do anything. They're just the hub of what it gets sold through. So it's an interesting way to think about the age of collaboration, that there's a whole crud load of products on Amazon, and Amazon doesn't manufacture them, Amazon doesn't warehouse them, Amazon doesn't ship them. Amazon just allowed other human beings like me and you to go on there and create Amazon stores and put our products on Amazon and do all that stuff. And so that's a pretty interesting part of the age of collaboration and how Amazon grew, right? In being able to sell products to everybody without having to invent, manufacture, or house the products. Now, of course, they've grown to a point where they have, holding warehouses and they have products on command to deliver things faster to people to make it even more convenient. But the bottom line is obviously their growth was collaboration, in inviting other people to sell their products on Amazon, and there you have it. What about Uber? Uber's another good example, isn't it? Pretty wild that pretty much anywhere you're at, I know in the United States, I'm not sure around the whole world, but I know certainly in the United States, like literally almost wherever you're at, you can get your phone out, press a button, and a car will come pick you up like a taxi service, right? Uber. Car will come pick you up like a taxi service, take you wherever you want to go. But it's not a yellow taxi cab. It's an individual person, like me or you, that's like picking us up in their personal vehicle, right? And taking us where we want to go. So it's individual people now that can act as sort of independent taxi drivers in their own personal automobile. It doesn't have to be a yellow taxi cab. And so Uber has this age of collaboration dialed in pretty good, don't they? Uber became the number one car transportation service in America, pretty much wiped out yellow taxi cab businesses. Yeah, NJ, you're on the right track with DoorDash. So, Uber doesn't have to have cars. Uber doesn't have to have inventory. Uber doesn't have to sell products. Uber doesn't have to house anything. Uber doesn't even have to hire their own drivers. Uber doesn't have to do any of that. It's the age of collaboration. But look how successful Uber has become without having to have cars, in inventory, ownership of any liabilities, going through the hiring and interviewing process to hire drivers, do all this, do all that. Nope. They made Uber. And then NJ said, how about DoorDash? Oh, you've been 5 times to India, Andy? That's awesome. I'm going to have to go with you next time. Yeah, so NJ's like, hey, how about DoorDash? DoorDash created the number one food delivery company in the whole planet and doesn't hire any employees, doesn't have any cars, doesn't have delivery trucks, doesn't have to spend money on managing and hiring employees or, running the vehicles and making sure all the fleet of the delivery vehicles are always maintained and all that stuff. Nope. Uber collaborated, didn't they? Uber said maybe a better business model is to collaborate with other people. And if we have a collaboration with other people and other just people are able to make extra money by being drivers for the company and kind of act as taxi cab drivers, gosh, people could push a button on their phone and just somebody will pick them up in 5 minutes and take them to the place. It's more convenient, it's faster, it's cheaper, it's everything than the taxi business. So we could just take it over. Look at there. But that was the age of collaboration, was it not? So it's the who. The who's are very important for a company like Uber. Not how are we going to have enough vehicles in the fleet to be able to pick everybody up and drive everybody around. That sure is a lot of taxi cabs. How am I going to run a business? Oh, how is this going to happen? No, it wasn't. They were like, who? If we start this business, there's going to be a lot of who's like me and yous that want to sign up to be a driver for Uber, and all of a sudden they have an automatic staff that's coming in to operate their business for them voluntarily. Wow, how brilliant is that? So that's just on that who, not how kind of a thing. And this age of collaboration. So why are we so afraid to build our network? Why are we so afraid to collaborate? Why are we so afraid to find other human beings that, either enjoy the hell out of what we hate doing, okay, or way smarter than us, way faster than us at doing certain things that we are kind of in the learning process of, or they've already gone way past the learning process into expertise phase. But here we are trying to fumble through things. When there's somebody right out there, the who, that can do it far better than you trying to figure out how. So read that book, Who Not How, or listen to it in the shower or car on Audible. Who Not How, Dan Sullivan book. Extraordinarily important book. Can help your life in collaboration. Beautiful thing. But look at this age of collaboration. So why are we so afraid to collaborate? So what is it, guys, that you think is holding you back right now from your goals? Whether your goals is fitness, physical goals, or financial goals, what do you think is holding you back? And then could we define that? Could we say, well, you know what? It's because I don't like doing this, or it's because I don't have time for this, or it's because of this, or because of that. So whatever excuse we can come up with on why we're not motivating ourselves or pushing ourselves forward to do the right things to become more physically or financially fit, can you maybe think of something that is getting you stuck or keeping you stuck a little bit? I'd be curious, because maybe we can try to break down on why you need to stop figuring out how to fix that. You got to stop maybe figuring out how to fix that. And maybe we got to think about who can help us fix that. Might be a smarter take. So I'm curious, what's been keeping you stuck, either physically or financially? Is there anything that's just been keeping you stuck and you're thinking, gosh, if it weren't for this, I'd probably be doing better? I think it's enjoyable to try to identify those things and to figure out who can really help us and who can help us get things accomplished. Hey, NJ, you have a good day too. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your day as much as possible. I love it. Yeah, who, not how, right, Andy? And that's what we figured out. And we appreciate Andy as being one of our who's, to be honest. All right? Instead of my partner and I figuring out how we're going to follow up with all these leads, how we're going to try to get people to show up to our webinars, how we're going to follow up to our investors, how are we going to do all this? It's a lot. Well, we found who. And for us, Andy is our who. Andy works with us, and Andy's an amazing individual to have on your team, guys. I'm just telling you, we are extraordinarily blessed to have Andy on the team and to work with us because he's our who. He's our who in various different aspects of our business. And if it weren't for Andy, we'd still be figuring out how. So I thank you for that very much, Andy. I thank you for joining me, NJ, in the mornings here. I appreciate you as being a regular of my show, and you're appreciated, NJ, as a who to me in these morning lives. Okay? So we're very important to one another. The age of collaboration is here. Who can help you, not how can you do it, is probably a better way to think these days. And there has been so many people important in my life and my development that I'm a living proof that the who's in your life can be more important than you figuring out how. So your network is your net worth. Now, let's talk about then this disconnect. Let's talk about this disconnect a little bit. Did I tell you guys that I reached out to a stranger on Instagram that's more popular than I, more physically fit than I, and seems to even be better off financially than I? And I reached out to this individual on Instagram because I figured out that he lived pretty close to me. Just happened to be geographically within 15 or 20 minutes of where I live. And I went, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know this guy is right here in San Diego. So I reached out to him on Instagram as a stranger, fanboy, so to speak, which I'm sure he gets a lot of. And I had to figure out a way to separate myself as someone of value to this stranger to try to see if I could gain a meeting. He's your who, you're a what, and I'm just like, why? Okay, interesting way to put it there, Coast. But so yeah, I mean, you know, why are we sometimes apprehensive to try to add people to our network? Are we afraid they're not going to like us? We're going to be embarrassed, or maybe we can't figure out value we can add to their life. We just don't want to seem like a suck up or something like that, right? So how can you guys figure out a way to add value to people's lives that you wish were in your life to add value to yours? How do you collaborate and how do you add value to people? Let me take this off of here. It's going to fall down. And as we've seen, and as I am living proof of, the people that surround you and the people you surround yourself with can be the difference in where you end up in just a few short years. Andy's out of here. All right, well, we're just doing some leg curls now and work out the back of the legs a little bit. So we were able to work with Andy, and Andy's been a very important who to our business. So how can we figure out how to approach people that we believe would be influential in our life to level us up, but how can we approach them in a way in which they can understand we may have value to add to their business? Well, I'll tell you this. When I first got into mortgage note investing in 2018, I really wanted Desi Arnaz to mentor me in the space. He had years of experience in buying notes already. He has 40 years, 45 years of real estate experience and entrepreneurial experience. And what ended up happening was I had to make a huge commitment and show that I could offer value to help this individual build his business in order for me to link up to be mentored. And so you have to find how you can add value to other people. And so hopefully, guys, you can find some value you can add to others in your life, and you can link up with different people that think at a higher level. If you're trying to level up physically, you probably want to get around people that are more physically fit than you. If you want to level up financially, you probably want to get around people that have done it and that are already leveled up financially. And knowing that the people we surround ourselves with, who we chat with most often, who is our influences in our life, who is our motivation, is very important on where we end up here in the next 3 to 5 years. And can you offer value is the key. What can you do to offer value to people that are a few levels above you in certain situations to where they want to bring you into their friend circle? And they want to bring you into their circle, and they feel like it would be fun to work with you, mentor you, and help you. At the same time, what could they get out of it from your end? How can you help them? How can you offer value, help them build their business and give more than you take? And if you can put those scenarios together, you can really start to level up and surround yourself with different people. And you can do it on purpose, by the way. And you can do it intentionally. You guys, some of the people we're hanging out with now, can we agree? Can you agree that some of the people you're hanging out with now and you're keeping in your really tight friend circle, maybe you're not leveling you up whatsoever? Can we admit that? And that's okay. We still, we're not saying don't be friends with them. I'm just saying it may be time maybe to try to, figure out some new friends and some new circles of influence around you that can really push you to achieve your dreams rather than hold you back. Interesting theory anyways. So I think, guys, what I'm going to do is finish up my leg workout here. It's kind of awkward laying down doing leg exercises and stuff like that, chatting with you. Kind of awkward. But that's kind of just the message for today, guys. Do not be afraid to try to change your network on purpose. Don't be afraid to try to reach out to people that maybe you wouldn't reach out to. Don't be afraid to start talking to people about your goals and talking to people about what value you have to offer. And, talking to more and more individuals about how they got where they got and how they can help level you up and how you can help level them up, and start to change your network. Because I really do truly believe that the people you surround yourself with help to decide where you're going to end up in the next 5 years. So don't be afraid to reach out to people. Don't be afraid to try to figure out what value you have to offer, what work you're willing to put in, what effort you're willing to put out there to be able to gain new influence. And of course, with stopping bad habits, like someone coming into your life and getting Andy to quit drinking alcohol, in which he was an alcoholic, had a problem with it. Someone had to come into his life, another person had to come into his life and intervene to get him to change that. So oftentimes there are those situations in life, in business, in our physical life, in our relationships, where just trying to do it on our own ain't gonna cut it. And you're gonna need to surround yourself with other people that can really help you get to the place you wanna go. So that's kind of my point for today, guys. I'm gonna be finishing my leg workout here. And just for some extra cardio, I'm gonna do some jumping of rope. I'm gonna jump rope, but I don't wanna do jump rope when I'm doing a live, because I already get out of breath doing my exercises, and you don't wanna see me trying to talk to you while I'm doing a jump rope. So I hope that helps you guys in just understanding that, yes, your network, in my opinion, is certainly very much equal to your net worth. How you grow physically, how you grow spiritually, how you grow financially has a lot to do with who you're surrounding yourself with. Are you always the one in the room that's the smartest? Not a good idea. Are you always the one in the room that's the most fit or the buffest or the fittest person in the room? Probably not smart. Because when you're always at the top of the game, you're bringing other people up, which is really good, but you don't really have many people to drive you to bring you up a level. So you want to start to surround yourself with people that you know can help to bring you up a level in life, whether it be physical, spiritual, or financial. And start to try to reach out to these people and see if you can offer some value. And sometimes people just click, by the way. Sometimes just by way of personality, people click. So if you're open and you're willing to meet new people, and you're at least brave enough to say hi and start to meet new people and start to get into different networks and things like that, trust me, within like a 3 to 5 year time period, your life can drastically change simply just based on the people that you're surrounding yourself with and the motivations that you have and the people pushing you to do better than you would on your own. And certainly people that are pushing you to do better than the current friend circle or family circle that you have around you now that maybe aren't very helpful in that manner. So that's just my lesson for today. Go read the book, Who Not How. Dan Sullivan book, Who Not How. It'll help you understand why sometimes we waste so much time figuring out how to conquer the world when we could just bring some people on the team, the who's, who can help me conquer the world. Not how can I conquer the world on my own, who can I bring on my team so we can conquer the world together. Very much a smarter way to go. So Who Not How by Dan Sullivan, good book to read. Start to maybe even think about your current circle, not of disregarding people and unfriending people and doing all that stuff. No, I still have all my same friends and family from before, but it's always good to maybe continue to reach out and think of adding new people to your network, and adding new people to your network that not only you can provide some value to so that you're acceptable in their network, but also that that will level you up, that will challenge you, put you outside your comfort zone. Right when you feel buff, and you go stand next to a guy that's twice as buff, you don't feel so buff no more. Right when you think you've made it financially, and then you go meet somebody that's 10x where you are financially, you feel like, well, maybe you have a way to level up now. There's always somebody that's stronger. There's always somebody that's smarter. There's always somebody that's faster. There's always somebody that's more rich. And there's always somebody that has already walked down the path, perhaps, that you wish you could walk down. And wouldn't it be a very smart idea to go and get some of those people in your network? Absolutely. 100%. And in my opinion, I do believe that it's one of the most important things you can do to succeed physically, spiritually, or financially is to get new connections that are where you want to be in those areas. And so that you can have somebody to start to emulate, and you can have somebody to start to push you and obviously put you in your place sometimes and humble you that maybe you aren't exactly the guy or the gal you really wish you could be, and that they can help you get there. And start to surround yourself with those people. So yes, in my opinion, I do believe your network is equal to your net worth. And I do believe the people you hang around with are going to be very influential on who you become and where you end up in the next 3 to 5 years of your life. I think the people around you, the who's you put in place that can help you figure out how to get things done, I think is just one of the most important lessons that we can take. And so if you still have parents and grandparents that are alive, guys, please don't take them for granted. They have wonderful lessons to teach you if you're willing to absorb them. And if there's people around you that you know that you don't spend enough time with, and that challenge you, and that can level you up, maybe you start to spend a little more time with them. And maybe you're looking at your friends and family circle and just thinking, gosh darn it, I'm kind of the one that's leveling everybody else up, and that's good. I love to be the beacon of light. I love to be the one that help people get more physically, spiritually, or financially fit. And I love to put people on a different track and a different mindset. And I just love it. I have a passion for coaching people. That's why I come on here and do it for free in the mornings to give people motivation. But the whole point is this. I need somebody to do that for me too, right? I need somebody to do that for me. I always have to have somebody that's better than me, that's in a place where I'd like to be pretty soon in life. And I have to maybe sometimes humble myself to say, maybe I could use some of their advice. I got a lot to learn. Certainly don't know everything. And if there's somebody that is in a better financial space than me, maybe I ought to listen to them about how they got there. If somebody's in a better physical space than me, maybe I ought to listen to them about how they got there, what their disciplines were and what they had to go through and the struggle, because most people always see the end result and want that. Most people see the end result of when somebody is just ultra fit, but definitely don't hear the story of the past 10 years of what got them to be ultra fit. Everybody wants to be ultra rich, but then no one wants to hear the story of the past 10, 15, or 20 years of the struggles that individual's gone through and the trials and tribulations they went through and the things they had to learn and do to get rich. No one wants to hear about all that gobbledygook. We just see the end result, and we see the result we want, and we say, ooh, I wish I had that. But you know what? We're not willing to really understand what it took to get there. And trust me, those people that are extraordinarily physically fit, they probably had a lot of others around them that pushed them to get that way. Okay? If somebody's really, really wealthy, they probably had other people around them that pushed them to get that way. And they started surrounding themselves with people of like-mindedness, and then they started moving forward down that path towards whatever goal that is that they want, whether it be physical, spiritual, or financial. And I do believe it is extraordinarily important to have those people around you. Oh, Rachel Morgan, thank you so much. Good morning, and good morning or afternoon. I don't know where you're in from, Rachel, watching, but I appreciate that I'm so positive. You know that it's why I come on here. I do this live. If you want to subscribe and hit the notification bell, if you like my content, it'd be awesome to have you as a new subscriber. But I come live Monday through Friday here in my garage gym. We call it the dungeon. I kind of do my exercising in the mornings, and I come live simply to be positive and simply to help people gain a better perspective when it comes to life change, because we all want to change positively. I feel that we all have this yearning drive as human beings to get better at things and to be challenged at things. Otherwise, life becomes pretty boring as a human being, right? My buddy used to say, if you think you live in Suckville now, he was calling saying we live in the city or the town of Suckville, meaning we don't like where we're at in life, whether it be spiritually, financially, or physically, whatever. We don't like where we're at. And we want to do better. And we're thinking, man, this sucks right now. So he's like, it's easy to stay living in Suckville. And so if you live in Suckville now, it's pretty simple that 5 years from now, you could still be living in Suckville. It's really simple to be stuck in Suckville. And so how do we get ourselves out of Suckville? In my opinion, it is to be positive, to motivate each other, and to surround ourselves with people of a positive mindset. And that push us out of our comfort zone, because what's in your comfort zone now, guys, will not push you to be somebody totally different and better 5 years from now if we just continue to operate in our comfort zone. We know that's the truth. We just end up being stuck in the same Suckville 5 years later. And gosh darn it, doesn't 3 or 5 years go by fast? I was talking to somebody yesterday. It was like, how fast 5 years goes by? The older you get, the faster time seems to go. And I know we've all heard that sort of cliche statement from grandpa or whatever. But the older we get, the faster time seems to go. And so when we look at a 5-year time period, when we're young, we believe 5 years is forever. As we get older, we believe 5 years goes by so quickly. And so if we all knew that we had the ability, physically and mentally, no matter who you are, we have the ability to completely change the dynamics of our lives, physically, spiritually, financially, within 5 years' time. It's the truth. I'm living proof, okay? And so I really just want to inspire people to be able to make those changes. And so if it's physical, spiritual, or financial, and you want motivation, you want to get better at things, and you want to have a bouncing board, a sounding board, somebody to do Q&A with, and somebody to ask questions for and be curious about, how do we become more positive? How do we envision our future being better and then actually go after creating that? And again, from today's show, if you want to call this a show, from today's live, my point is oftentimes a lot of our successes are going to be dependent upon the people we surround ourselves with. And can we figure out a way to change the dynamic of the circle around us? Of course, we're not going to change our family, mom and dad and cousins, who they are, okay? But in our friends circle and who we hang out with the most, and who we decide to associate with and learn our lessons from and so on, we should start to think, I would assume it would be logical to start to think that if you want to be really good at playing piano, you want to be really good at playing piano, okay? Would it be smart then to spend the next 5 years, a couple days a week, a couple hours a week, for 5 years straight? If you want to really be good at piano, it'd be probably smart to link up with somebody that is already really, really good at playing the piano. Kind of logical, right? If you want to be a really good chef, you want to learn how to cook the most amazing foods, it'd be probably pretty good idea to hang out with an amazing chef that already knows how to cook pretty good foods, is walk down that path. So I know this seems silly, but then I don't know why we as human beings are sometimes so afraid to go and try to add new people to our network that can really get us to where we want to go. So stop thinking about how in the next 5 years you alone are going to change your life dramatically, and how you're going to take the steps, and how you're going to do all this stuff, and how you're going to learn all these new things, and how it's overwhelming, you guys. Start to think about other human beings on the planet. This is the age of collaboration. Start to think of who is out there on this planet that you can link up with, that you can associate with, that you can befriend, that you can offer value to, that maybe can be now a very influential reason in why your life can change for the better here in the next 3 to 5 years. Yeah. Well, Rachel, it's really good to have you. So if you subscribe, and if you subscribe and you hit the little notification bell, you're welcome to join me on here. And I motivate people to get more physically fit and more financially fit. That's been the way my life has changed trajectory in the past 5 years or more, where I've made a conscious decision to change financially, and I made a conscious decision to change physically, and it's been working. And so I'm kind of living proof that if you really make a conscious decision to do things and you start to surround yourself with the right people, you humble yourself, you're open to coaching, you're open to being pushed to do things that are outside your current comfort zone, and you get around people that tell it to you straight and don't sugarcoat stuff, right? And I'll end it with this, with the sugarcoating of things, right? I have a 7-year-old daughter and I love her to death. She's on her way to school right now with mama. But my 7-year-old daughter is such a sweetheart, right? And at 7 years old, she draws these amazing pictures. And in fact, she is actually a pretty good artist. But she drew a picture and she showed it to me the other day and she said, "Dad, look at this picture I drew." And she says, isn't that really good? And I went, "No, it's not." And I wasn't being a jerk. We were joking about it. I like to josh around with her a little bit. And I went, "No, it's not." And she looked at me and she went, "Dad." And I went, "Well, it's really not. I mean, you can do a lot better than that." And I was kind of just teaching her a lesson that, to do things halfway and then to come to people and act like they're impressive is certainly not the way this world works. You want to give it your 100% effort, I told her. I said, "Go draw it again," right? And she has all these pictures she draws and things like that. And you should have seen the second version, right? So anyways, let's push ourselves. Let's get around people that push us and get us outside our comfort zone. And of course, I think that our lives can change for the better very quickly within a 3 to 5 year time period. And oftentimes it's not, how we do all this. That's overwhelming. It's who can we surround ourselves with and put in our network that can really push us or show us the light and the path that we can start walking down. So anyways, guys, fun show. Tomorrow we're going to be back, of course, 6:30 to 8 a.m. So it's 6:30 tomorrow morning. I'll see you then. And we'll chat some more things up about business and finance and how we can better ourselves. All right, guys. Thank you so much. And really, really hope you enjoy the rest of your week. We're at midweek here, guys. So let's push through and let's do some amazing things. And maybe, just maybe, you might meet somebody today. Maybe you might meet somebody today in your life that maybe you would have sloughed off otherwise. But maybe now, after you've heard this, you might go out there and try to add them to your network. Who knows? Okay? So go out there and make some new connections, make some new friends. Don't be afraid to tell other people your goals, your vision, where you want to head, and find out who wants to collaborate with you. And perhaps you're going to find people out there, which I know to be true. You're going to find people out there that really have a passion for doing things that you really hate to do. And what better way to build a team than build a team of people that have their own lane, they're good at what they do, they have their passions, and those passions and what they're good at differ, right? Because not everybody likes to do accounting, but some people love accounting. Not everybody likes to go through legal jargon. People love legal jargon. Not everybody likes to raise private capital. It's embarrassing for them to go out and try to raise capital from other people. Some people, it's their wheelhouse, okay? Some people are really good at using Excel and designing these wonderful spreadsheets for business, and other people have no idea how to use Excel, and it's foreign to them. So you have to understand this, guys. If we are going to, with our inadequacies, try to figure out how we're going to do everything, it ain't going to work. It ain't going to work. We already know this. You're going to figure out who can we surround ourselves with, who can we bring on the team, who can we collaborate with, and who can help us to achieve our goals, and who sees the same vision and wants to head in the same direction. Let's start surrounding ourselves with those people. And even if you feel a little embarrassed or a little goofy trying to reach out to somebody that maybe you feel some animosity because they are way above you and you're feeling that they may not give you a lot of respect, well, you know what? A lot of people will give you the respect just for reaching out to them, asking for help, asking for advice. And a lot of those people that are above others in health, fitness, finance, spiritual, a lot of those people, of course, feel that they have a fiduciary responsibility to help others get to that point. And so, guys, the age of collaboration is here. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to reach out to people that can really drive you, surround yourself with better people, and really, really start to push yourself towards those goals that you want to achieve. I know you can achieve them. I know you can change yourself physically, spiritually, financially within a very short amount of time. But it's very difficult to do when you're surrounded by the wrong type of people. It's very difficult to do when you have people that are bringing you down. Very difficult to do when you have people that do not see that vision because they like to poo-poo on your goals, don't they? All the time. They just don't see it. And if they don't see it, so be it. There are other people that will. All right, you guys, have a wonderful rest of your week. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.